Welcome to this episode where we'll be breaking down critical knowledge for the Ase A8 engine performance certification exam. We're covering systems repair, including OBD2 diagnostics, which is a major part of understanding modern vehicle performance.
That's right. The A8 test is comprehensive, covering everything from general engine diagnosis to complex computerized controls. It's about ensuring technicians can thoroughly troubleshoot and repair engine performance issues.
So let's start at the beginning. General engine diagnosis. When a customer brings in a vehicle with a problem, they often struggle to articulate the exact issue. How do technicians typically approach that initial complaint?
The service writer plays a crucial role in gathering information and defining the problem, but for the technician, a thorough visual inspection is key. Many concerns can be isolated simply by looking. For example, a hard start or poor mileage complaint could be a leaking fuel pressure regulator diaphragm. Just removing its vacuum hose and checking for fuel can diagnose it without complex tests.
So a visual inspection is more than just a quick glance. What exactly should it entail?
It includes checking all air intake plumbing for cracks or loose clamps, inspecting vacuum hose conditions and routing, looking at spark plug wires for damage or misrouting, and examining wiring harnesses for chafing. Don't forget fluid levels and conditions too. All these provide initial clues. Technicians should also review the vehicle's service history to avoid duplicate work.
Beyond that, the text emphasizes road testing as part of almost all service routines. What's the main purpose of a road test from a diagnostic perspective?
A road test lets a technician verify the customer's concern firsthand and then later verify a successful repair. During the test, you're listening for unusual noises, watching for exhaust smoke, and evaluating engine and transmission performance under different speeds and loads. It's also a chance to spot other problems the customer might not even be aware of, like a broken motor mount on a rear-wheel drive vehicle, which might only lift the engine on acceleration.
That makes sense. It's about comprehensive assessment. After the initial checks, what kind of research is essential before diving into detailed diagnostics?
Understanding the system you're working on is paramount. This means consulting manufacturers or aftermarket service manuals from publishers like Mitchell, Motors, or Chilton. These provide theory of operation, wiring diagrams, component replacement procedures, and specifications. Also, technicians should always review a vehicle's service history and check for technical service bulletins, or TSBs, and recall notices. The internet and even diagnostic hotlines are valuable resources for less familiar issues.
Moving to more specific symptoms, noises and vibrations are common complaints. How do technicians pinpoint the source of these issues, which can be elusive?
Many engine defects, like worn pistons, rings, crankshaft bearings, or even a cracked flywheel, produce distinct noises or vibrations. Identifying when they occur, related to engine speed or temperature, is critical. A stethoscope can help pinpoint the location. For instance, piston slap might be loud when cold, but disappear when the engine warms, while a worn connecting rod bearing often gets louder as oil thins with heat.
So a methodical approach is needed. The exhaust can also provide clear diagnostic clues. What do different exhaust colors or odors tell us about engine health?
Normally, exhaust should be colorless. A small swirl of white vapor in cold weather is normal moisture. If it's bluish-gray, that indicates oil entering the combustion chamber. Black smoke points to a rich air-fuel mixture, and grayish-white exhaust can signal coolant leaking into the combustion chambers.
That's very specific. Manifold vacuum tests also seem fundamental. What can a vacuum gauge reveal about engine condition?
At idle, a steady reading between 17 and 22 inches of mercury is normal at sea level. A low steady reading suggests late ignition timing. Fluctuations between 12 and 18 inches of mercury can mean burned or leaking valves. If the vacuum slowly drops to a very low reading when the engine is accelerated and held at 2,500 RPM, that points to an exhaust system restriction. It's also important to consider the effect of valve timing and adjustment on vacuum readings.
You mentioned valves. What about cylinder power balance tests? How do they help identify a weak cylinder, and what are their limitations?
A power balance test ensures all cylinders are contributing equally.
When you individually disable cylinders, you expect a noticeable drop in RPM. Comparing these drops helps identify which cylinder has a problem. Newer scan tools can automate this by disabling fuel injectors. However, this test only identifies a low power cylinder. It doesn't pinpoint the exact cause, whether it's a compression, ignition, or fuel delivery issue.
So it narrows it down. To dig deeper into compression, what do cranking and running compression tests tell us, and how do you differentiate between ring and valve issues?
A cranking compression test checks the sealing quality of the combustion chamber. Low compression in the cylinder suggests issues with either the valves or the rings. A wet compression test, where a small amount of oil is added to the cylinder, helps differentiate. If compression improves, it's likely rings. If not, it points to leaking valves. Running compression, also called dynamic compression, is typically about half the cranking pressure. Valve adjustment should always be checked if valve issues are suspected.
And if compression is still low, the cylinder leakage or leak down test provides even more specific information. How does that work?
You introduce regulated air into the cylinder, and a gauge shows the percentage of pressure leaking. 0% means no leakage. 100% means no compression. If you hear air escaping from the exhaust, it's a leaking exhaust valve. Air from the intake means a leaking intake valve. Leakage into the radiator suggests a head gasket or cracked cylinder head problem, and air from the PCV system or crankcase indicates leakage past the rings.
Modern vehicles increasingly rely on advanced diagnostic tools. How do things like oscilloscopes and engine analyzers enhance a technician's ability to diagnose complex problems?
Computerized engine analyzers perform detailed system tests for cranking, charging, ignition, fuel, compression, and emissions, often providing accurate printouts. They can quickly identify issues, for instance, measuring cranking current per cylinder to determine relative compression. A digital storage oscilloscope, or DSO, is especially useful for pinpointing intermittent faults or issues that only appear under road load conditions, allowing technicians to analyze waveforms from sensors and actuators.
Emissions analysis is another complex area that offers a wealth of diagnostic information. What are the key exhaust gases, and what do their levels indicate about engine health?
Hydrocarbons, or HC, are unburned fuel molecules, indicating improper combustion from misfires, rich, lean mixtures, or timing issues. Carbon monoxide, CO, is a rich indicator, formed when there's insufficient air for the fuel. Oxygen, O2, is a lean indicator. High levels can mean misfires or vacuum leaks. Carbon dioxide, CO2, signals combustion efficiency, ideally over 12%. Finally, oxides of nitrogen, NOx, form at high combustion temperatures, indicating EGR system issues. It's crucial to interpret all these gases together, as one gas can influence the readings of others.
That's a very holistic approach. Let's shift to mechanical adjustments. Valve adjustment seems basic but critical. What's the difference between mechanical and hydraulic lifters, and why is correct adjustment vital?
Mechanical or solid lifters require a specific clearance to account for component expansion. Incorrect clearance leads to clicking noises, or if too tight, can cause valves to hold open, leading to compression loss and burning. Hydraulic lifters, on the other hand, automatically compensate for temperature changes. Technicians must consult service manuals to determine the correct procedure and if the adjustment needs to be made when the engine is cold or warm.
Camshaft timing is another fundamental aspect. How do technicians verify it, and what problems arise if it's off?
The camshaft and crankshaft must maintain a precise relationship, usually marked with timing marks. If timing is off, you'll see symptoms like a no-start condition, lack of engine power, or low vacuum readings. On distributor-equipped engines, if ignition timing is off significantly, the camshaft timing should be checked. For belt-driven camshafts, timing covers or access plugs are used. Incorrect timing, even by a small amount, can severely impact engine performance.
It sounds like engine oil, often just thought of for lubrication, also plays a critical role in modern engine performance, especially with variable valve timing.
Absolutely. Engine oil is the lifeblood. Beyond lubrication, it helps cool the engine, reduces friction, cleans components, and seals piston rings. Crucially, dirty or sludgy oil can cause issues with the oil-controlled variable valve timing system, leading to cam phasers and oil control valves sticking. This directly impacts emissions and drivability because the intake and exhaust valves aren't operating at their optimal point.